welcome once again to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. I am your host, Deanne McCletchy, and of course, I'm always happy to be in your space. As you know, this program has been designed to inform, uplift, and inspire our viewers. Today, we have a guest from Trinidad who will share some of his personal experiences after being incarcerated for 16 years and what led him to imprisonment, how he overcame hurdles and challenges while at prison, and how he moved from prisoner to authoring 9 books. My guest today is Mr. Pream Badree. Mr. Badree, welcome to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time.
I good day, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Tian, for having me on today. It's an honor to finally be on your show. I've looked at a few episodes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, Prim, tell us a little bit about your early years growing up. What was family life like for you?
In my instance, I grew up firstly in a poor family. A poor household, not a poor family, because my cousins and uncles and aunts would have been well off. But what happened is we would have been segregated due to my mom was not Trinidadian, my mom was Guyanese, and we grew up in cane cutting. So we had to like cut a quota in order to be given exactly what is our share. Remember filling water from standpipe in one early hours of the morning in order to be to go to school. I'm talking about using a small oil keg because I didn't have muscles enough to tote these stuff. So I had to up and down box cat. Um, we had a board house at that time in. Then eventually we started to develop it into concrete. But growing up, my household was love. We had joy. We used to every weekend we used to try to enjoy a little party for everybody to come. But what happened is my siblings and I never like become obedient to our grandparents. So that's one of the reasons we are segregated as well, and we are more fair skinned than them as well. So it was in terms of not being able to be like, let me be honest, no censored, slave to them. In other words, because the stories I heard my mom would have went through, where she had us in cardboard box while she's cutting cane in order to see us, because she had no support from any one of her in-laws to see about us. And she's about 4'9", 5, so it was a short woman cutting this cane and just had to be running around with 3 kids. And sometimes her in-laws, my grandparents and my uncles, would not give her any food, and my dad would have been like, when he get paid from his work, he'd have to give his mom all his paycheck and hope that she give him back some more. He had to ask back. So this is stories I'm really into what they told me as well. And they would have to ask back money to go to work or to buy food or to see about the family. So when we got our opportunity to get this piece of land, and my mom built and my dad built a home, eventually we started to move away from them, because it's, to what I heard, it was very, very violent. And this is something that also, as a youth growing up, it would have been very effective to my it would affect me a lot, because honestly it tend to make me do like my father's side of family, because of who they are. And I'm not gonna say who they become, who they was. I'm still gonna say who they are, because they still have that same mindset.
Wow, that sounds like you had it really, really rough and rugged
Mhm.
growing up. And how many, you said 2 other siblings you had?
No, I had 2 brothers, elder brothers, and 1 sister. And then eventually, before my mom left my dad, we got 2 other little brothers who's twins. And yeah, so it's about 4 boys, 1 girl, but one passed away about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. That's
Okay. Well, just share with our viewers about the scenario rather that led to your arrest and then imprisonment.
so
Was there actually a time that you left home and was living elsewhere? Tell us about that as well.
so no, I am. I would have stayed with my dad continuous because my mom left home, and she left because of the abusive relationship, and because when my dad left the home to leave my mom with the home and everything and leave us, my uncles would climb up on the balcony and shake the door, frighten my mom. I had my mom scared several times until my mom had to leave. And then eventually my dad didn't want to come back home either. So it was myself, my sister, and my second brother alone in the house, no appliance, anything like that. And I would say it's through God's grace that we actually no food was spoiled, nothing at all, and we survived. I didn't know how I was going to school. Honestly, I didn't, because I didn't know how I had money in my pocket. And my dad and I'm coming back home 2 weeks after, and during that process, my sister left, my brother left, so it's just myself and my dad, and he would not be home until probably 8 o'clock in the night, just working sometime after work, taxi, and coming home just to try to make enough. And I had a lot of free time, and I had no confidence in myself in terms of being bright or anything, because when you go to school in teenage years, most of the time you study is being popular. Everybody know you, and girls like you because you're kind of handsome, and that is basically what you like. And I would have followed some friends and adults who actually was showing those friends to do criminal activities and being home alone doing nothing. And I went to line with him. And this guy would have tried to frighten me and say, I know, come out of jail, fucking up in charge and this and that. And I was like, okay, so, well, my thing was the company, the excitement. And then they had some little stuff, in between. So I decided to go with them. And the adults would have invited us to go somewhere, some a plot, and then after the scenario happened, he took his girlfriend and carried her them to the police station and got us locked up. So in other words, he set us up to get locked up so he could be able to say, well, he's a good citizen. So it was technically like that.
Wow. So would you say it's because of lack of guidance? Because as you indicated, that there was one point that you alone, you were home alone, no adults in the
Mhm.
home, and then of course your lack of confidence. What did that really do for you? Is it that because of that you felt abandoned and you just wanted to be able to fit in?
So lack of guidance and supervision is like so much free time on your hand, and only so much we could play, pull a consult and play a game, or either or watch TV. There's only so much, but then we want to go out and do stuff. So a person don't like to be alone sometimes and do like run up and down. They need companionship and the confidence that hey, I need to have proper guidance. It's not like okay, this is life at the end of the day, whoever comes by you, because it takes a community to raise someone. And if there's no proper role model in the community, then that person is going to go astray unless that person has the determination to become a better individual. Lack of confidence because I've always fought for the last place. Now, mind you, in primary school and secondary school, I had a pattern of violence where I would have fought a lot, and I would have not known I was bright because in the class I was an A class, and my grades never fall before below 80%. But my parents never really say congratulations, you're I, even though you come in second to last or third to last, you're in a class that exceeds brilliance. They never, so my confidence was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not being doing bright enough, because at a point in time I used to get 2 out of 10 in spelling tests until a price of 50 cents, and those time in 25 cents was a triple or yeah. So that is when I became, yeah, that is when I actually got like 9 out of 10 in spelling, because the teacher told me, well, okay, you will get a reward. And kids like to be rewarded when they do something good, as well as if you do something bad, there's a punishment. There should also be yeah, there should be the equivalent when they do something good. And seeing that you don't get no sort of proper congratulations or recognition for your achievements, you don't know that you're doing something good. So that means like, okay, I'm probably just average. I don't know what to do. So my confidence not boosting to say, well, hey, is a bright person. Keep it up. Keep up the attitude. You're okay, is an average person. So you don't have nowhere else to go, because in times we aspire to reach places, and because we don't have that supervision, we get depressed. And that was the situation myself. And that's why I looked elsewhere when my dad and my brothers or nobody was home, to see if I had a company and also a growth somewhere so I can know where to reach in life. That is why I
Right.
end up with friends and end up in a messy situation.
Yeah. What I'm hearing from you is that it's like you felt you had no sense of purpose. No, your
Mm-hmm.
life had no direction. You didn't know exactly because of the lack of guidance or that kind of parental guidance,
Mm-hmm.
even from other family members. And as you indicated earlier, it takes a village. So even other persons from the community, there were no persons that would have reached out to you, so you felt like if, as it were, all was lost.
Yeah. What I can say as well, remember, a child grows up and the sense of direction to know where you want to head. Because my little brothers, they would have one would have always wanted to do medicine. And right now he is in his last year of medicine studies with Monto or other practices. So he know that guidance had him narrowed in a certain path.
Right.
Another the no, the twin, the next twin wanted to be, I think, a pilot, but he wasn't get it, like the avenues wasn't open towards him. So he get towards lawyer. So he's also in his last year of becoming a lawyer as well. And same way, when I was growing up, it wasn't like, okay, you have a future, like proper talk. Sit down and counsel talk, like, hey, you have a future ahead of you. And like what I'm doing to my niece and nephew at the moment, you have to open up your mind to understand that after school there's something because um nobody's obligated to take care of you after schooling. What do you want to become? What I was told though, when I'm growing up is that, hey, you're gonna be a pilot. So you have to study to that. So that was like I didn't get to want to do what I want. I was on like, you have to do this. And if you don't have to do this, well, you're gonna cut cane or this or that. So it was like, it wasn't proper motivation or
Yes.
proper informed um guidance. Because during my time growing up, I learned so much while I was incarcerated as well. And the art of communication is one of the most crucial thing in a youth growing up.
Yeah.
Because if you're not well informed, you'll always go astray.
Okay. At what age were you incarcerated? And of course, share with our viewers the initial response to you being arrested and how life really changed for you.
I was incarcerated at 15 years old, just turned 15. Um, to me, what led to the incarceration was a robbery went bad that somebody died. Um, I didn't know what I did actually, what because I was a part of it. And the only time I realized, like, hey, you throw your life away was when my mom was in that room and I was just there because the officers would have showed me favor as well. And then my mom would have said that, hey, you know what you did? I said, well, no, what happened? She said, well, you know that you might not ever come out of prison again because of what happened. And I could have see that hurt in my mom, and I was like, what? And then I started to realize, like, wait, what really happened? Because during the process, we didn't really know what was going on until after, and it was like, hey, this is never going to happen. We had fear. Now, I do not like to elaborate on the current situation because I want to try to let people know, yes, something happened, but what happened out of it? What could lead up to the issue, not what happened, but what happened after. Because at 15 years old, entering a place that I didn't even know about, I know I had one cousin there, but his stories was like, he didn't tell nothing really true. He was just, well, all he was saying was, it's a tough place, and he used to give people extra diet. Now, in my terms, I was like, what is that? But what I can say is entering the prison was like one of the most curious, scary thing because you're going into a place where first you enter in we used to call it matchbox them timing. So there was a panel van with a cage behind it, and you inside that cage lock up and go into the prison. While it's going around, all you can see through is this bars. And it's not really like it's like a mesh wire, but it takes so you can't come out of it, or you can't see your hardly seeing your finger can barely fit through. So you're like an animal in a cage. When you reach in, they pull up the aggressive attitude one time. come out the vehicle. And it's not like they're gonna say, well, hey, hi, good day, everybody, come out the vehicle. Yeah, tonight. No, you're not gonna get that. Come out the vehicle, go and line up over there one time. When you line up, it's like, okay, when you reach up there, put all your belongings in front of you on the ground there, and you start to strip your clothes. So it's like, what? So being able to have my privacy when I'm outside, now that I'm incarcerated at 15 years old in an institution where it's only male people, only officers, and I don't know where I am really and truly. And all I know is that, okay, the person is telling me to take my clothes off. I have to show my private part, turn around, squat, cough, stand back up. It's like, what's going on here? All you have to do is click in survival skills now. And for you to understand that, hey, where I am is not somewhere correct. And this is not somewhere where I want to be for the rest of my life. What do you do now?
Wow.
So,
So it was like coming from this background, you know, your family, you're in your own home, and then into this robbery that went bad that you said someone died. And as a
hmm
result, straight into prison at age
hmm
15. It was like a culture shock for you, obviously.
you ever watch movies where it have like a they're driving from one paradise as soon as they're going to that desert to that whole to the chaos and everything? It's like
Yes.
that. You just go and you just boop, they reach there and like because when you're walking through the corridors for the first time, everybody's pushing out their hand, trying to grab you, or somebody trying to ask you, who's you? Who's you? And yeah, like you don't have a cup, so at least they might have to rip a bottle and they give you two bread that is so hard, they don't know when inside it, you see flies around the food. And you're walking in and everybody's asking, and then somebody ball out, nah, he's for the cell block, they charge for murder. And then it's like, oh, people go pull aside, now you go into the cell blocks at juvenile. And when you went in the cell blocks now, you're like, you're watching these three people to a cell, sometime one, and people are still pushing out their hand, asking a million questions, and then they put you behind this bar, slam a gate, and just turn and walk off. And you're in the cell with another person, I was like, you can't walk back out, you can't open the gate. This is your position. This is where, okay, you had to be here, you had to live here. It's a small cell. And what makes it kind of strange on my behalf is that 3 months before, like when I just turned 15, before I was incarcerated, I was lying on my bed. I think I know started to read the Bible, but I wasn't a Christian at those timing. And I would have stayed up my ceiling because I was now starting to write music as well. And I would have seen the cell blocks of YTC and told myself, go in prison for a little while and come out and make it big in the music because I love music. And 3 months after walking in the cell blocks of YTC, seeing the cell blocks is like, I saw this place already.
Wow. 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 Oh, I tell you, this is a very touching interview today. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our first short break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. You're viewing Transforming Lives One at a Time.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marys Hill, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
Hi,
My name is Hansen Mason and I'm a student of Scarborough Secondary School. Recently, out of taking place in the Mines Spelling Bee, in which I have placed first for my Form 5 and 6 category in Tobago, then went nationwide in Trinidad in which I have placed third. Firstly, I want to thank God, my amazing parents and tremendous teachers at Scarborough Secondary School who would have motivated me to still partake in the spelling bee despite what I would have had to tell them. And what I want to leave with you is to don't be afraid to spell that word wrong. Don't be afraid to try. And that is simply proof that you are trying, and every mistake that is made is a step closer to getting it right. Thanks for the opportunity, good vibes, good news.
Welcome back to Transforming Lives One at a Time. Today, my guest is Mr. Pream Badree, and he's an ex-prisoner. He was incarcerated for a period of 16 years. And during his incarceration, he authored 9 books. So he's just telling us about his experiences and so forth. So, Pream, during the 16 years you were in prison, did you have the support of family and friends, or did other persons come from the community? Let's talk about that.
In YTC, you're entitled to 2 visits a week. On several occasions, I would have been able to get 3 due to there's a story in the Bible that says Joseph, when he was in prison, no matter where he was getting favor. So because I'm not really officially a troublemaker, I got a lot of favor. So I was getting 3 now and then. My mom would come every single week. Dad would have come every week at a time. So it's Sunday to Sunday visitation. It's about 45 minutes, 15 to 40. I think about 45 minutes because time is flies so fast. Always was 15. I used to get, anyway, that's how my now matter. I had my best friend since kindergarten. We, even though we were separated after in secondary school, going different school, his dad would have brought him. They would have asked, they would have come pray for me as well. My siblings would have visited ever so often, or come with my parents. My school took an opportunity and toured the institution and came to look for me. I had 1 or 2 cousins come. So I had some visitations overall. I had 2 of my ex-girlfriends write to me. One, she was a girlfriend at a tattoo shop before I was incarcerated, and my girlfriend from school. So we would have welfare. So I would have been also given the opportunity to go welfare, which you don't get to go so often, but I get to go often. And I would call the numbers, that's who I remember, and speak to whoever I remember. And yeah, they would have wrote support a little bit. But eventually everybody life move on. Over a lengthy period of time, it started to decrease visitation. My dad, like, he came like once every couple months, then he started to come once a year. Then I didn't saw him for a couple of years until my mom brought him. And then he afterwards, but that's when I entered the adult prison. My mom started to come less, like once a month, because any adult prison is once every week or once every month. When you're convicted is I think it's 2 times a month when you're convicted. So, but I started to give my parents a chance to say, okay, you don't need to come so often. I had my own phone, so I would call them every day and have discussions with them, which phone is not legal, but I also place although so the welfare, my own phone, and then there's the wall phone where the legal access the phone. Instead of going welfare, your parents could put money on the wall phone and you could call them ever so often as well. So that was a system I used to keep contact. Um, thank God for Facebook. It came out when I was inside it, so I get to connect to a few other friends and family, and that's communication was good. The support system, because being incarcerated, you need communication with somebody outside. That's you need an emotional support.
Yeah.
Families are good, but somebody else other than your family help motivates you to keep a ambition or goal to come out. And that fire that, hey, don't give up hope.
Okay.
That was a nice thing.
Right. Well, staying in that vein of family life and support, just give your thoughts on the importance of having the right values and morals instilled in a child from an early age.
Having the right values and morals is 100% supported by me, because let us, if you take how to say it, a in a sense, the word not coming to me, but if you take an interview of 100 different kids and you ask them what they learn and grow up, because remember, a child is like a sponge when growing up, and anything that you teach them is what they're gonna learn. So if they see you smoking, or if they see you constantly drinking, they're gonna think that's a norm. And if they see like the father is hitting the mother, they're gonna think that's a norm as well. So when example, when I would see my dad smoking and then throwing his cigarette to the ground, I would go and pick it up sometimes and put it in my mouth, pretending I'm smoking and thinking that I'm an adult now.
Yes.
Not knowing that was a gateway to rebellion, to a rebellious attitude. When uncles and aunties daring to take a little sip of alcohol and thinking it funny. So all fun and games is not good. It's not good at all. And having the proper, and as I say, proper information. So growing a child saying, okay, alcohol in the near future is your choice to consume, but here are the consequences of this. This is
Right.
what happened to people when they drink alcohol. But according to the Bible, you are still allowed to drink a little bit because the bacteria and parasites, these chemical reactions do help eliminate it a little bit. So you need to know that taking a one or two sip now and then is okay, but the abuse and the love is what is wrong. So, as I say, and this is why I would have learned by listening to a lot of people, and I would have learned that whenever I have a kid, I want to sit and talk to that kid. Here, what's up? You are liking this. Example, watching a lot of TV shows, or because they have a lot of shows capturing the wrong view of kids. Example,
Yeah.
Peppa Pig. It's showing attitude to have towards your parents if you're not getting
Correct.
something. So it's like, okay, you know you like the animation of this or how it looks, but this is teaching you this. Do you want to be able, do you want to rebel against your parents and be punished? Or do you want to listen because yes, sometimes you don't like a parent, what they said, but you have to understand. So growing a child up knowing right and wrong is very crucial. So there, because you can't make decisions for them forever.
Yes, of course.
And there's a crucial thing that I saw on TikTok as well, and I would have adopted as well to teach people money management. Teach them from a young age. Give them $5, if one is 3 years old, and tell them put two to save, two to invest, and one to give away. So
Right.
you're teaching them. You have to start to teach them from their young, because if you don't, they are going to go astray. And this is what happened to a lot of us.
Right. Right. Well, I like what you said earlier on. You said that in terms of children, it's like a sponge. You have a sponge,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever the environment is, they will soak in that information. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you see your all your siblings or your parents there using abusive language to each other. They're gonna believe that this is the way it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
They're drinking excessive alcohol and falling in the drain and behaving in those kind of manner. And if it is that we don't inculcate the right morals and values in our children at an early age, then we have a problem because
Mm-hmm.
children learn from what they see. So sometimes a parent may not be telling them something, but they're learning from whatever you are bringing to the table. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to mommy harsh or you're talking to daddy harsh, that child is now going to believe this is the way to do it. So I really like what you said in terms of that. And it means that as adults, we have to take into consideration even more
Mm-hmm.
seriously the repercussions of our actions and our inactions where our children are concerned, because it means that this can either uh, make their lives better so that they can make meaningful contributions to our society,
Mm-hmm.
or it can take their life on a down path. So they could now be a part of the problem rather than the solution. So that aspect is very, very important, Prim. Well, I want to talk a bit about how you adapted to prison life. What was it like for you emotionally, mentally? You now had 16 years of your life taken away from you because of one bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thought patterns like?
So at the beginning, after I entered and started with fear, my next initiative was survival. So gradually, day by day goes by, I saw how it was and eventually adapted because I remember entering and an officer came to me and pulled myself and my charge partner outside, give us a hot cup of mobi and hit us in our hand, forcing us to drink it, burn up our mouth and thing. But later on in the future, when I spoke to him, that was like a lesson to know, don't ever think prison nice. But eventually I started to survival and then how to say it? I looked at my friends from school and I would have said, you know what? I do not want to be behind them. So my school would have sent schoolwork for me through my dad. I would have said, sit down, take the books, go through. But then I was like, I don't get no proper schooling. So not getting proper schooling, I would have throw it aside. But eventually, how to say it? One thing I adapted at the beginning, and I would say it, is that earlier on I would have talked about being violent in school, from primary school, then secondary school, fighting 2 times, 3 times a week. I would have fought a little bit in prison because you're staying amongst multiple people with different attitude and different areas they come from, different cultures. You're not gonna agree all the time. So eventually we disagree, we fought a little bit. We started to familiarize with each other. One thing I used to like though, almost every night we used to hold a church service. We used to be singing, beating the wall and singing and reading out a scripture because it's shocking that in that environment, and we didn't needed someone to come on because people from the cell blocks do not get so much privilege to go to church. So we created our own church service. And these are morals that try to help, like, okay, you need God in your life. We'd have motivated each other, even though we fought, we'd have still come and say, hey, yesterday was so sorry about that. Eventually I get to go to school. What happened is, and this is where the confidence started to build, right? Sorry. Excuse. Um, one of the teachers in there, when I entered, I started to get high grades. And she started to say, I understand that when your hands start to get tired, they start to write scrabbly because my handwriting is like carnival. One word up, one letter up on top, the next one below the line, all how is like doctor, everything mixed together. And then she would start to write, congratulations, you're so brilliant, you're so thing. But some of the other inmates who trying to impress the female because they have little to no females, they it's like officers, so they're trying to impress. I not doing it, not like not want to do it. I just naturally starting to fit into what I like, and they would have get jealous. I'm like, oh yeah, mystery, attention, this and that. I was like, I just doing my schoolwork. But even though I was brilliant, I failed maths 4 times. So I failed English 4 times as well. What did I help is that um my that's first time when I said that I don't want to be behind my school friends. And then afterwards, through that will spark to say you're coming out, that hope, as well as the belief of God, and then my family support.
Right.
And then eventually I met a girl who, because schools used to come in and communities, and I would have met a girl through mentoring, and we would have connected through Facebook, so it's a long distance relationship. And when I said earlier on, having another support system other than family is
Yes.
very nice. This is what helped me survive in terms of I was saying, you know what? I can't make prison my life.
Okay.
So how I look now is not how I was before. Now I wear glasses and thing. I was a one big delinquent in a terms. And I'll just draw back a little bit just to say why. Because I used to real store Maxi long time. Jump out a Maxi right, you never pay anybody. I
Oh,
used to collect the box lunch, take the meat out of the box lunch, 4 5, put it in my back, home, going home in the evening, pelting the people yard. I used to take scratch bomb and pelt it to CPAP workers' foot. I used I was just miserable. But
yes.
in my neighborhood, I was like a good person in terms because I said help out as much as I could. But out of the neighborhood, nobody never really knew who I was.
Right.
And this is something that when I entered prison now, I used to reflect on it because I used to smoke still in prison. Until 2006. Marijuana and cigarettes. And yes, I used to get it because you'll sell a New Jersey, you'll sell snacks you got to get these stuff. But then afterwards, I was like, if I need to make this change,
Yeah.
this is also a change I need to do. Stop smoking. And because it's I cannot eat, where all this stuff my parents are working hard to get and bringing for me. And stuff that costs 40, 50, $60 is going to one cigarette and a little piece of marijuana. It
Okay.
doesn't, it mats not matching.
Right.
And eventually, I didn't choose to be a delinquent again in prison, and I chose rehabilitation. And what was the nice thing is that I didn't need to prove myself anymore. Doors started to open. I started to go mentoring out of the prison, career guidance to tell people they could choose the prison as a employment because of a compensation package. I started to be in charge of the computer room. I started to teach. I didn't get in trouble and I was getting favor and everywhere I go. People just never thought I was locked up. Even when I come in the
Right.
prison and I
Yes.
wear like a 3 quarters and a slippers and operating the camera system, they say, I thought I hire you. I was like, nope. So much you're well spoken. I saw here that to have to be ragged spoken or to be a person or a criminal,
Right.
So it's who I wanted to be.
Yes.
And that was motivated me because what I can say as well, I was in a dormitory with like 24 of us was in capital charges. Currently, about 22 to 21 of us are outside right now and free.
Right.
About three died because they chose crime still or
Okay.
situation. And about 17 of us motivate each other to, hey, no, don't go back in crime. Don't choose it. Do the yes, things hard out here. Look at how this opportunity. You have the opportunity. You could just and see if they help out each other.
Right. So, what would you say? Because obviously, there was that
Mhm,
turning point that you decided, listen, I have to take immediate action. Uh,
mhm.
I need to make a change. What was that one single point that you reached that that spoke to you that said, I need to make a change and I need to make it now?
So I don't like to be okay. So I don't like pain. I don't want people hit me. I don't want to be constantly if officers beating me because it's an embarrassment in my terms. And looking at if I stayed as a delinquent, what would have been the outcome? And through God, looking at if I made my change, what if it would have been the outcome? And weighing the pros of cons of both, I chose to make that difference because I want a life. I may have made a wrong choice to and ruin them a piece of my life, but I wanted a life again.
Yeah.
And that was my point.
Yeah.
Making sure I make a difference.
Of course. Um, all right. Well, just before we go to our second break, I must ask this question. If you had it to do all over again, and I know we always talk about that from time to time,
Mhm.
knowing the end result of you losing 16 valuable years, what would you have done differently? Would you have changed your friends, your associates? Tell me.
Okay. So to answer that, I need to know if I'll have my mind that I have now.
Well, okay,
Because if I have this
understood.
mind that I have now, definitely not because I would have known everything already. I would have been one of the biggest business owners right now.
Wow.
Yeah, if I had this mindset before, knowing the whole outcome, I think just by knowing the outcome without the full total of what I would learn, I think
Yes.
I might have chose different. But I wish I could have take this brain and put it in that body, because
Yes.
it would have been so different. I would have created so much stuff because there was a time that I created a app when I was in YTC. The idea of a app, multiple ones in fact, and this was way before it came out. Was like um, fit a reminder to drink water, how much times a day, and what would be the difference. So with my app at the beginning when I was thinking about it was you need to input if you drink a sweet drink, whatever you drink, with your body mass and your height and everything, and to calculate how much you need to drink to dilute this and health. And it was just like a kind of a health social media app. And that was way before these kind of apps was when Facebook did now come out. My idea. So I think that's making that change. My mind started to race 1,000 miles per hour of things I could have created. Example, something called Yell Help, where you could put in female bras and what your heart area is. And if a female in a situation that they feel threatened or anyway, they could have just bought like how the ball help, and it would have read the heartbeat and would have sent to the phone, which would have called in nearest put police.
Police
I
station.
I
Wow.
thought I talking about quite in 2007 and 8 I created these ideas. But I was incarcerated, so I had no means, no way to actually put the ideas out.
Yes, got you. Well, let's just take a pin there. We're going to take another short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marysville, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
Hi, my name is Hansen Mason and I'm a student of Scarborough Secondary School. Recently, out of taking place in the Men's Hospital me, in which I placed first for my Form 5 and 6 category in Tobago, then went nationwide in Trinidad in which I placed third. Firstly, I want to thank God, my amazing parents and tremendous teachers at Scarborough Secondary School who would have motivated me to still partake in the spelling bee despite what I would have had to tell them. And what I want to leave with you is to don't be afraid to spell a word wrong. Don't be afraid to try, and that is simply proof that you are trying, and every mistake that is made is a step closer to getting right. Thanks for the opportunity, good vibes, good news.
Welcome back to the program. My guest today is Mr. Pream Badree. And during your time of incarceration, you would have done so many things in prison. You would have taught computer classes and a host of other things. So let's just talk about that. I know you would have also authored 9 books, but we're going to talk about those 9 books in part 2.
Yeah.
All right. So just tell us about some of the contributions you would have made to be able to assist other inmates and, of course, your own academic accomplishments.
So some of my success was first met with a lot of failures. So as I spoke earlier on, I failed maths and English 4 times. What I have to thank is Costat for coming in the institution, and I would have been given an opportunity. And they taught me the basics that I was lacking to pass my subjects. So with the English, CXC don't teach you that there's a thesis statement in everything you're doing in CXC. The summary, the first line have to be a thesis line. They don't teach you that. And I learned that at Custard. And the very next chance I did English, I got a one. With maths, I actually got 100 in the college algebra and this stuff. And when I did the CXC, I got a two. So when I left YTC, I left YTC with 7 CXC passes. I used to teach. Well, I was in charge of the computer room there. I eventually started to teach computers in MSP, the EDPM subject. I taught school evening in YTC. We did mentorship where for years we'd have left the prison, go outside. I was on remand though, and talk to schools, communities. I used to enjoy myself, after years getting to put my foot in the beat. You will shock. I used to actually walk through the Beatum primary school when the then Prime Minister was talking, and we had a career there. And I would left the compound, went out to the vehicle, no prison officers, nobody. And I watching people and I saying, maybe they only nobody. Thing and I would be honest, multiple times it crossed my mind to escape when I was going outside. But then I always weigh the pros and cons. Escape, always on the run. You don't want to live a life of the run because you believe in the Bible and that is wrong.
Right.
Let everything happen according to God wanted to happen, and then you'll go on. I did graphic designing. I did when I entered Golden Grove Prison, I did one more CXC, two more CXC, and I did two A levels. Now, mind you, I only do about 3 to 4 CXC with teachers. The rest of them is self-study. Right? In MSP, I finish up my subject, so I end up with 10 CXC passes, 6 A levels. I did debate competition where I won a scholarship at Cipriani College. I did a HR course when I came out on there. I did a radio broadcasting course. I graduated with honors, so I'm a certified radio broadcaster as well. Love to talk, so radio and me will do good, or TV and me will do good because I love to talk and mentorship,
Right.
public speaking. Like literally like 95% of the courses that came through because I wanted to do barbering, but barbering was clashing with my white tape courses. I actually did not because it's programmized, but because they had so much thing to teach. And the key to actually have an inmate already, the key and the secret to have a inmate to literally want to do courses and make a change is having a pretty woman there. And you'll see a class full up, you'll see everybody scoring A's just to try to get your attention.
You're motivated instantly.
Motivated instantly. And that happened. And sometimes when a guy come in, you'll see less people unless they're bringing food or something like that. You know, that is literal. Yeah, food and women. That is literal in prison.
But I'm listening to you, Prim, and I'm just thinking, you're an amazing young man. You're amazing young man. I mean, in spite of life threw that at you.
Mhm.
And in spite of that, you made a conscious decision. You made an intelligent decision that, listen, yes, this is what has happened to me, but this is not going to be the end of me. And I'm going to push, I'm going to fight, I'm going to still pursue my goals, pursue my dreams, even if you were in a bad situation. And I think for that, I have to commend you and I have to congratulate you because so many other persons cannot speak like you because they have lost their motivation, they have lost their joy, they have lost everything else. And it's like, my life, it's done. My life is over. But you took the opportunities that were offered to you and you made the best out of it.
Thank you
And
so
that
much.
is definitely commendable. Turning a bad situation into something good. Something good is coming out of your life. Tell us, how long have you been out?
It's April went by, make it 5 years. So I'm like 5 years and about 3 months or so. In fact, about five, a little over 5 years.
Okay, okay, okay. And how has that been for you? How, in terms of, getting back into society, going back to your hometown, seeing friends and family members that you would have known before, and them obviously seeing the transformation in your life now. How has that been?
That's a whole 3, 4 episodes together because it has been a drama with my family. What I could I just wanted to just interject a little bit too, because during my period of incarceration and out here, I've met so much people that I am so grateful for. I've met my greatest favorite artist of all time from Jamaica, Alien, who came into YTC. I have pictures with them. I have met people out here who I never thought I've met. And coming out here, the beginning process was kind of a little scary for me because I didn't know how to open a door. Mom carried me KFC the first day I came out and she was handing me the money, so I was a little nervous. Because, being away from my family for over 16 years, it's not like you're
Yeah.
gonna fit in and just like, oh, pick up from every just so. You are a
Okay.
stranger. Technically, you become a stranger in your family. And you left up at a certain, how to say it, you left your family a certain way. When you came out, when you come out, you're not you're expecting something similar to it. Not knowing everybody grew up, everybody develop a different life. You have to fit yourself back in, not them gonna fit themselves in you. And
Right.
it was kind of like I had to learn to talk better because I was aggressive. And when I was working, some of the females would have like complained because of my aggression in my conversation. And my directors would sit down and say, I understand that, you was incarcerated and you had to have an aggressive tone, but you're working amongst female now and females are different. So
Yes.
you need to tone down a little bit, try to be a little more better. And they would work alongside me. And that's what I love about them, right? Um, I didn't know how to open my door. I told you I was trying to open it and I turned the key like how I know once, but then I didn't know. I realized, wait, you had to turn the key more. How? And is that was that thing? I used to carry my
Yeah.
toiletries to the toilet still. I filling gas for somebody and I didn't know you had to lift up this and press this and I just take so it was
Wow.
learning so much. My
Yes.
communication still skills because I went up to some girls trying to flirt and it was like weird to them, because I'll come like, hi, good day. Just wanted to say you're very beautiful today. I love how you smile. And it's like people don't talk to them like that.
Right.
And I was like, wrong? How to already polite girl? Because I know about being polite,
Yes.
complimenting and polite. But then again, it's who you're complimenting and polite because some girls grow up with such a like, hey, yeah, you're real sweet. We seen. I like, give me a number. Like them
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I was like out of place for a while. Then my religious belief was clashing with my family religious belief, where it had a lot of complications where I rejected to participate in human and in Hindu stuff because of my Christian belief. And it became a conflict of where eventually I had to move out one of my family members' home. Um one of my brother would say I was like a baby learning everything again. Then I moved in closer to where my dad's side of family is. And literally it was a good experience. So I started to work and back to my old neighborhood, but it was terrible because none of my uncles like me. One of my uncles used to advantage, one of my auntie, and I put a stop to it. And eventually his daughter started to say some stuff about him and post up some stuff. And he went to the Princeton court and said I did it instead, and that he is fear for his life because I just came out of prison and all kind of madness. And the kind of evil thing he's doing down here, I put a stop to a lot of it. And that I get fake case, but I'll tell you it's about 3 different episodes you had to go through this because I got my tire burst, I got my internet cut, I got coverage through on my clothes. It's a whole set of stuff I went through.
Wow.
And
Wow.
right now, uh, one of them literally, one of my cousin went to my girlfriend brother and tell him that I said that I would with my girlfriend temporarily. I told him that. And I was like, what? And I was like, and the thing about it is the family in the neighborhood don't like me and respect me. But the other people in the neighborhood
Right.
respect me non-stop, will walk up to me and
Okay.
say, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of what you're
But
doing.
of your
And
accomplishments.
So, example, I have one family member though, one who are close by me who were like this. So there's tell me any little situation I think, but they're different than my last name. So that is why I get along good with them because they have a different last name. When light system in the neighborhood go wrong or the road damage or anything, they would call me and I would make calls and help out. So that is why I thinking like I should be an MP for my village, you know, because everything they would call. Look, even recently, they had a big altercation, and in front of me, what's happening. I tell them, I say, hey, I respect you all know that, and that is not family member. They say yes. I say, you all respect me. They say yes. I said, do not have this altercation in front of me, and they would say okay. And when I was walking away, it just it escalated and a fight happened. And normally there's always a do part fight, and it's literally like six people versus one. And they say do part fight because you'll be the person who get anything. But I literally like
Yes.
with my girlfriend taking them and flinging them off of them, and none of them curse me. They not put back a hand against me or anything like that. And then when I went down my neck, I went down on myself after. They've come and apologize. The father said, well, I apologize for whatever happened and, sorry that thing. And I tell them, well, okay, just, violence is expensive.
Huh. Well, if anybody knows that, it's you, eh?
Yeah. And I was like, all you do now, I said, call the hospital, find out if anything, one of you all get hit with a stone, this, that, that. And it's like the respect I get from these people.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
garbage truck wasn't even coming down. I had a quality corporation. I have and from there, the head person in the corporation. Me and the two officers have communication, not regularly so much again because time is fly. And
Yeah.
yes, forget to call people. But I actually got resolutions for certain things. And it was like,
So you are now contributing meaningfully to your society. You are now
yeah.
doing that. Well, Prem, as we get ready to wrap up part one, I want you to talk to someone today. I want to give you the opportunity to speak with someone who is currently heading to a life of crime or
Mhm.
already involved in crime. And of course, nobody understands this better than yourself. You've been there, you have done that. What would you say to this individual as we bring the curtains down?
What's funny from what you said, right? Because sometimes people look at image and somebody will watch me walk into like going to meetings with my suits or my blazer and my jeans and everything. And they will not know I was ever incarcerated for 16 years, 5 months. When I tell them, they were like, for what? Custody officer? I was like, no, and I explained to them. And then it changed. So, first thing, never judge a book by its cover. Second thing is that we all know life is hard. Just because you're doing crime or you're going to do crime or whatever, doesn't mean you're different from somebody who's not choosing to do crime. Everybody is going through something. Life is not easy. The cost of living is not cheap. There's just some people choose to cope with the cost of living and struggle just not to do crime again. Now the question is, when you're going to do the crime, what is the consequences? Are you happy with that consequence? Are you happy with going to eat hard bread with food will have fly in it? Are you happy with giving away family time? And if you're married, you get your wife going to somebody else. If you have a girlfriend, that's not going to be your girlfriend anymore. If you have a child, when they come out, your child don't even know who you're fighting with you and even call you daddy again. Or mommy will call you by a name. So you're lost in respect, you're lost in familiarity, you're lost in family relationship bonds. You come out and would you be happy to come out and don't even have a single cent and you have to scrape to try to start over again and struggle, right? Would you be content that every single thing from your family would even have to pawn their house sometimes to pay a lawyer to suffer? Would you be content that sometimes people will reject you because, just because you want to genuinely make a change? A wise man learns from his mistakes, and a wiser man learns from people's mistakes. Be a wiser man. Be a
Yes.
wiser man and understand that crime is very expensive and it hurts every single person around you and yourself.
Well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Pream Badree. And of course, I know during your period of incarceration, you wrote
Mhm.
9 books and you are now on your 10th. You have achieved a lot academically and you have already launched your own television program and you
Mhm.
are now going throughout Trinidad and Tobago, encouraging persons to not make the mistakes that you did. And
Mhm.
this is truly transformation like no other, beating the odds. utilizing your time of incarceration to reflect and to make a positive change in your life. Well, viewers, this is how we wrap up part 1. I want to encourage you to stay tuned for part 2 of this very, very, very interesting and life-changing interview with Mr. Pream Badree. All right. Well, folks, that's how we wrap it up for today. As usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time for part 2 of this interview. Stay tuned.